Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to Government House, Yarralumla. Dawa Nuna, Dawa Nunawil. I acknowledge the Ngunnawal people as the traditional custodians of the land on which we gather and recognise any other people or families with connection to the ACT and region. I respect their continuing culture and contribution they make to the life of this city and this region. And I also acknowledge and welcome other Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders who may be here this afternoon or watching online. My name is Paul Singer and I'm the Governor-General's Official Secretary. And as this badge signifies with its cross quills, I'm also the Secretary for the Order of Australia, the council which makes recommendations to the Governor-General, who is both Chancellor of the Order and the Principal Companion of the Order. And I'm also Secretary of the Australian Bravery Decorations Council, the body which makes recommendations to the Governor-General for bravery awards. Before we start the ceremony this afternoon, I'd like to acknowledge among our distinguished guests, Commodore Anthony Clenthis, representing the Chief of Navy, Air Vice Marshal Harvey Reynolds, representing the Chief of Air Force, Dr Gordon de Brewer, the Australian Public Service Commissioner, Mr Howard Wren, Chief Officer of the ACT Ambulance Service, and Ms Lynn Duckham, representing the National President of the Order of Australia Association. Welcome all. The Australian Honour System provides a wonderful mechanism through which we as a nation can recognise and celebrate ordinary people who do extraordinary things. Since its inception in 1975, almost 400,000 people have been recognised for their meritorious, bravery, military or national service. The Order of Australia is the principal means of recognising outstanding service, and it's important to note that nominations come from all parts of the community. Anyone can nominate. Today is a special day, not only for the recipients, but also for their friends, their families and their communities. It's a day when we celebrate a diverse range of impressive achievements and service. My Government House colleagues and I are privileged to play a small part in the recognition and celebration of that service, and we look forward to making this afternoon an occasion that you'll recall with pride for a long time to come. Shortly, I'll invite you to stand for the arrival of Her Excellencies the Governor-General and Mrs Hurley, and then please remain standing and join in the singing of the first verse of the Australian National Anthem. The investiture will then begin in the order listed in your programs. After I read their names and citations, the recipients will enter from the doorway on my right, and after they've been invested by the Governor-General, will return via the central aisle to take up their seats at the back of the room. And it's at this point you might like to show your appreciation with a short applause. At the conclusion of the ceremony, the Governor-General will say a few words, and then we'll invite recipients to join with Her Excellencies out on the state entrance stairs for an official photograph. And at this point, we just invite the remaining guests to remain briefly here in the drawing room until Their Excellencies and recipients have departed. And then we'll invite you out into the dining room and out onto the lakeside terrace where refreshments will be served, and Their Excellencies and recipients will join with you shortly. So, ladies and gentlemen, please relax and enjoy this very special occasion. Would you please stand, if you're able, for the arrival of Her Excellencies the Governor-General of the Commonwealth of Australia and Mrs Hurley, and for the singing of the Australian National Anthem.
Australians, all let us rejoice, for we are one and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil, our home is good by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts, of beauty rich and rare. In history's page let every state advance Australia fair. In joyful strength then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please be seated.
Good afternoon, and again I offer a warm welcome on behalf of Linda and I and the staff here at Government House Yarralumla to Government House for a very special day. in the life of our recipients and their families, and also our nation, as we recognise service to it. Could I join in the acknowledgement of country to the Ngunnawal people and to other people and families with connection to the ACT region? Canberrans here will know we live in a beautiful part of the country, in Namadgi down south, the Brindabellas out to the west there, Murrumbidgee running around it. It's just a glorious place to live. And we do thank the Ngunnawal and others for looking after it for us for generation after generation, and being mindful at the moment of our responsibility to the younger generation of Indigenous kids. Their future is critical to the future of this country. Our purpose today is to acknowledge, thank and invest with an award people who have made a significant contribution to our country and to the well-being of our communities. As you'll notice, there's a degree of pomp and ceremony about the day. The gardens have all been done up nicely. Everyone's in their finest clothes. The military are gleaming. So it should be. This is an important day in the national calendar. Indeed, this week and the other Investiture week here at Government House are the two most important weeks of the year for us, the real highlight of the year. We will acknowledge today people who, in a wide variety of professional fields and at the community level, have made a difference, have invested to make a difference, invested their time, their energy, their intellect to improve the lot of others and to improve our country. They all see a remarkable diversity on display. They have similar characteristics in that they're selfless, they're hardworking, they are creative, but they keep going. And none of them today will actually stop after they receive a medal. I'm pretty sure of that. Because they do this for love of community. They will be humble. It's a very nice trait of these ceremonies that everyone who comes through that door will be saying to me at some time during the day, I don't really deserve this. Other people have been working hard for it. That's a lovely sentiment, a lovely characteristic of Australians. But today I give them permission not to be humble. You may boast, not brag, because your country is saying thank you to you. One other thing our recipients have in common is that they have all been nominated by another Australian. Our system of honours, I think, if not unique in the world, certainly has a very strong characteristic in that it's bottom up. Ours is not a system where elites in Canberra or other national capitals or state capitals look around and say, Bill, Bob, Jenny or Joe are doing a great job, I'm going to present them with a medal. Everyone in the general division has been nominated by another Australian, a peer. I want you to remember that because I'm going to give you some homework after the official ceremony and in my concluding remarks about how people get to walk through that door. But I make a particular mention today to the families. I know how this works. I want to thank you for your contribution to assisting each of the recipients today reach this position today. It is a family effort, and I'm deeply appreciative of what you have done for the country as well as each of our recipients. Special day. We'll acknowledge through the investiture, we'll celebrate together and I think positively that we are a far better country through the contributions of our recipients today. Thank you, and I now begin the official ceremony.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, to be presented with the insignia of his appointment as a member of the Order in the General Division, Dr. John Kirk, for significant service to enology and to professional associations. As the founder and owner of Clonakilla Winery, Dr. Kirk is widely regarded as one of the fathers of the Canberra Wine District, as well as being a distinguished research scientist. Now in its 52nd year of operation, Clonakilla is recognised as one of Australia's top wineries with a reputation for producing nationally and internationally acclaimed cool climate wines. Throughout his time as a winemaker, he played a leading role in establishing and promoting this wine-producing region and was the co-founder of the Canberra District Vignerons Association and served as its president. Dr. Kirk was previously a dedicated research scientist with the CSIRO and an active member of the Canberra-based Society for Social Responsibility in Science. Dr. Kirk has made a significant contribution to his community over many years, and his efforts merit our recognition. Dr. John Kirk, appointed a member of the Order. Awarded the Medal of the Order in the General Division, Ms. Rowena Abbey, for service to local government and to the community of Yass. Ms. Abbey is well known as a selfless and hardworking member of the Yass Valley community. She served on the Yass Valley Council for almost 12 years and was the first woman to hold the office of Mayor on the council, serving in that role for 8 years. During that time, she advocated for the duplication and improvement of the Barton Highway between Yass and Canberra, and she secured state government commitments for improved school facilities, including a new school for Murray Bateman. She also served as the chair of the Canberra Region Joint Organisation, where she was a strong voice for the people living and working in southeast New South Wales and surrounds. Ms. Abbey is highly respected throughout her community, and her commitment inspires us all. Ms. Rowena Abbey, awarded the Medal of the Order. Awarded the Medal of the Order in the General Division, Ms. Ricky Bartels, for service to the community through a range of organisations. Ms. Bartels has committed decades of service to social justice causes, refugees and asylum seekers, alleviating poverty, ageing with dignity, and to social policy debate. As chairperson of the Settlement Council of Australia, she was a vocal advocate for adequately funded services to support people settling in this country. She was heavily involved in the development of innovative programs that now have become mainstream, such as aged care and disability services for people from cultural and linguistically diverse backgrounds. She's more recently been a voice calling to increase payments for those on Centrelink. Ms. Bartels is an effective trailblazer, and the impact of her work has improved the lives of many. Ms. Ricky Bartels, awarded the Medal of the Order. Awarded the Medal of the Order in the General Division, Mr. Frank Davey, for service to the communities of Merimbula and Pambula. Mr. Davey has been a tireless volunteer for surf lifesaving for over 30 years and is still an active member of the Pambula Surf Lifesaving Club. As well as serving in a range of roles, he was the instigator and coordinator of the Wambury Camp for Young People. Over 700 people have attended the camp since its inception and have benefited greatly from a positive influence he has had on their lives. Similarly, he's served in the local Junior Bulldogs Rugby League club for over 40 years. As a long-time volunteer of St Vincent de Paul, he's devoted countless hours to counselling and assisting people who are in need financially, emotionally and physically. Mr Davey epitomises service above self, and we acknowledge his contributions today. Mr Frank Davey, awarded the Medal of the Order. Awarded the Medal of the Order in the General Division, the late Mr Ivan Gray, to be accepted by his son, Mr Steve Gray, for service to the community of Nowra. After serving his country in the Royal Australian Navy for 21 years, Mr Gray devoted his energies to the community in a wide range of areas. He was a founding member of the Nowra Culburra Surf Life Saving Club and was an instructor of the Nippers program. He was also actively involved in rugby league and for his efforts was made a life member of the Nowra Warriors and Shoalhaven Jets clubs and authored 2 publications on local community sporting teams. He participated in several exhibitions and workshops and assisted in raising of funds for the Shoalhaven Art Society. Mr Gray served his country and community over many years and his efforts merit our recognition. Mr Steve Gray accepts the award of the Medal of the Order on behalf of his late father, Mr Ivan Gray. Awarded the Medal of the Order in the General Division, Mr Garth Setchell, for service to the community through a range of roles. Mr Setchell had a notable career in public administration, particularly in the field of heritage architecture with the then Department of Housing and Construction. He also served on the ACT National Trust Governing Council, where his knowledge of heritage conservation was instrumental in enabling the Trust to promote the preservation of places, objects and issues of significance to the heritage of Canberra. Many of the buildings now in the ACT Heritage Register were originally nominated by the Trust on his advice. He developed a program of history and heritage related tours to local areas around the ACT, throughout Australia and overseas. Mr Setchell, since joining the University of the Third Age, has employed his considerable skills and experience to design a walks and tours program that provides valuable social and cultural enrichment experiences for the University of the Third Age members. Mr Garth Setchell, awarded the Medal of the Order. We move now to the Conspicuous Service Decorations. Awarded the Conspicuous Service Cross, Commodore Virginia Hayward, for outstanding devotion to duty as Director Navy Workforce Strategy and Futures. Commodore Hayward joined the Royal Australian Navy in 1989 and has demonstrated achievement and professionalism in her various roles since that time. As the inaugural Director Navy Workforce Strategy and Futures, she's been vital to the design and development of plans for the future workforce of the Navy. She was involved in ensuring professional development and career pathways for all Navy work groups, which represents best practice in organisational change management and stakeholder engagement. Commodore Hayward's efforts will have had lasting positive impacts on how our Navy grows its workforce and will improve the capacity and capability of those men and women who serve in the defence and in the protection of our nation. Commodore Virginia Hayward awarded the Conspicuous Service Cross. Awarded the Conspicuous Service Cross, Group Captain Patrick Delgaitis, for outstanding devotion to duty in the development, acquisition and sustainment of space-based communications for the Australian Defence Force. Group Captain Delgaitis has been posted to predominantly satellite and space-based communications positions across the ADF's operational and capability development elements during his career. Universally regarded across Defence as a subject matter expert, his technical knowledge and experience are acknowledged by peers and subordinates and are recognised and respected by Defence Force and public service leadership. He has established communications capabilities and associated governance for over 2 decades. Group Captain Delgaitis' thorough and dedicated application of knowledge and skill in a highly technical and complex environment has ensured that our Defence Force remains at the forefront of space-based communications. Group Captain Patrick Delgaitis awarded the Conspicuous Service Cross. Awarded the Conspicuous Service Cross, Warrant Officer David Turnbull, for outstanding achievement in advancement of the reformed Air and Space Power Centre and in the delivery of leadership initiatives into the Royal Australian Air Force's enlisted workforce. Warrant Officer Turnbull, as a senior enlisted leader within the Air and Space Power Centre, has shown enthusiasm and drive in initiating and supporting the newly reformed centre. This commitment has been key to its current and future success. Testament to his skill and dedication, he was asked to fill the key position of Executive Officer early in his tenure within the centre, where he progressed significant initiatives such as the Airspace Power in a Box education tool. Warrant Officer Turnbull has been tireless in his efforts to drive forward multiple aspects of the Air Force strategy, and his endeavours have directly contributed to generating an intelligent, skilled workforce and agile and enduring governance structures. Warrant Officer David Turnbull awarded the Conspicuous Service Cross. We move now to the Meritorious Service Awards. Awarded the Public Service Medal, Ms Bobby Antoniou, for outstanding public service to public health as Liaison Officer for the ACT COVID-19 Clinic Health Emergency Centre. As the single point of COVID-19 contact for the Australian Capital Territory's health facilities and academic institutions, Ms Antonio has provided up-to-date advice and information which allowed these organisations to protect their patients, staff and the community. She also played an important role in supporting staff who were unable to get their workplace due to border restrictions, people who are unable to see unwell family members, as well as educating others on personal protective equipment requirements in different settings. Ms Antonio has provided critical coordination of emergency relief personnel to aged care facilities when impacted by COVID-19 outbreaks, and her commitment to the health and well-being of the people of Canberra is most noteworthy. Ms Bobby Antonio awarded the Public Service Medal. Awarded the Public Service Medal, Mr Graham Archer, for outstanding public service through leadership to deliver nationally significant measures and reforms. Mr Archer has shown perseverance and leadership in supporting the delivery of nationally significant information communication technology, social security and welfare program systems. He led the rapid design, introduction and operation of the economic support payment for income support recipients, an initiative that progressed from inception to the payment of $1 billion in a period of just 5 weeks. He continues to provide expert and frank advice, and is known for intuitively understanding the implications of technical decisions on policy and service delivery implementation. Mr Archer is an exemplary technology expert who has demonstrated a willingness to take on responsibility and ownership of complex and high-risk bodies of work, providing vital benefits to the wider community. Mr Graham Archer awarded the Public Service Medal. Awarded the Public Service Medal, Ms Sarah Chidgey, for outstanding public service through policy development and law reform in integrity frameworks, criminal justice and national security. Ms Chidgey's contribution to law reform and policy development in the Attorney General's Department spans more than 20 years. Most notably, she was instrumental in strengthening Commonwealth integrity frameworks through her leadership of the National Anti-Corruption Commission Task Force in 2022. She delivered 2 major tranches of organised crime legislation and finalised and secured Commonwealth, state and territory agreement to the Commonwealth Organised Crime Strategic Framework and the first National Organised Crime Response Plan. Ms Chidgey has provided expert advice to successive governments and has led major reforms of our laws relating to terrorism, espionage and foreign interference. Ms Sarah Chidgey awarded the Public Service Medal. Awarded the Public Service Medal, Mr Grant Lovelock, for outstanding public service through contributions to the APS workforce strategy, and the Australian Public Service Academy. Mr Lovelock, in his role as First Assistant Commissioner at the Australian Public Service Commission, has been instrumental in the APS-wide transformation of strategic workforce management and capability. He's worked diligently and collaboratively across government, engaging with multiple key stakeholders, and has been responsible for the development and implementation of the first APS workforce strategy. He's also been instrumental in the establishment of the APS Academy, a key reform arising from the 2019 independent review of the Australian Public Service. Mr Lovelock's leadership, innovation and dedication to APS learning has been of the highest order, and we acknowledge his service today. Mr Grant Lovelock awarded the Public Service Medal. Awarded the Australian Ambulance Service Medal, Ms Michelle Blewett, for distinguished service to the Australian Capital Territory Ambulance Service. Ms Blewett has been a paramedic with the ACT Ambulance Service for over 33 years. After a period of service in aeromedical operations, she moved into Clinical Services Unit as a manager and educator, delivering support services to frontline ambulance officers. She returned to the role of flight paramedic before being promoted to manager aeromedical operations and retrievals. In this role, she's overseen the expansion of the road retrieval capability, designed to provide safe and stable transport of more critically ill patients within the region when flight operations are not available. Ms Blewett's patient-centred focus, experience and expertise will continue to ensure improved health outcomes for critically ill patients under the care of ACT's ambulance service. Ms Michelle Blewett awarded the Australian Ambulance Service Medal. Awarded the Emergency Services Medal, Mr Jason Jones, for distinguished service to the Australian Capital Territory State Emergency Service. Mr Jones has been a member of the Australian Capital Territory Emergency Services Agency since 2002. In that time, he's undertaken several roles, including as a firefighter and acting Deputy Commissioner. He's currently the Assistant Commissioner of Operations. He's provided exceptional service to the community in firefighting and emergency management, and more recently, in his efforts to support the ACT government's response to the COVID-19 pandemic. He's also demonstrated outstanding commitment to the delivery of programs that contribute to the ACT Public Services targets in sustainability and emission reduction by 2045. Mr Jones's efforts and achievements in serving the Canberra community are deserving of our recognition. Mr Jason Jones awarded the Emergency Services Medal. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the presentations this afternoon.
We have acknowledged each of the recipients individually. I think it would be appropriate now to acknowledge them as a group. Congratulations all. Well done. Now, I'm often asked, what do I say to each of the recipients that you can't hear? And why do I do it that way? In the whole process, that interchange there is the only private time I have with each of the recipients in our honours and awards system. So I'm selfish about it. It's mine, and you may ask them, they may divulge, but it's just my opportunity to say thank you in the way I see what they have contributed to our country. Now, your homework. In the general division, you've seen the range, a smaller sample set here because we're in a smaller community in the ACT. But you've seen examples of what people do for the community to uplift the community. You know other people like that in your community. And what I'm asking you to do is go back, think about who that might be and nominate them. As I've said, our system is bottom up. It needs nominations so that people can be recognised. Some other points to bear in mind as you're considering who you might nominate. Over the last two lists, we've achieved 50% male-female gender parity. It's taken us quite a number of years to get to that, but we have put in place systems to ensure we can continue to do that. But we need nominations. We are underrepresented still in Indigenous members of our community and in the multicultural element of our community. Again, we're working to improve that, but if you know people who are doing work for our community that merits recognition, please nominate them. I'd love to nominate to mark your homework. Probably my successor will mark your homework as they come through the door in the future. But please give that thought. Again, to families, thank you for your contribution, which we mark today as we mark each of the recipients. You are indispensable to their achievements. And finally, to the recipients, congratulations again. Absolutely delighted to be part of your day, and we look forward to celebrating with you at the conclusion of the ceremony. Congratulations and thank you all.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Well, ladies and gentlemen, to assist with the homework that the Governor-General has said, I do encourage you to access the online nomination form, which is available on the Governor-General's website at www.gg.gov.au. As the Governor-General has said, it is a relatively straightforward process, and we look forward to welcoming those that have been successful through that process at an investiture such as this in the future. I now invite the recipients to join with Your Excellencies on the state entrance stairs for an official photo, and for guests to head out into the dining room and onto the lakeside terrace where refreshments will be served. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please stand for the departure of Her Excellencies the Governor-General and Mrs. Hurley.